And that's only Slick Shot. Alright. You know, oh my god. Oh my god! This is insane. Of course not. And now we can go for this one. And that means they won't have a card and we will have 2 blockers. If we whiff and draw a land on the next turn, this might be our big play. You know, drawing a creature. By the way, look at this card that they kept for later. Okay, Braids is pretty amazing here. And we keep the blockers. 1 creature is white, 1 creature is black, so Skrelv cannot give protection. And let's start getting this sweet value. Like, Braids is amazing in this scenario. Hello everyone, it's Sloth here, and I know what you're thinking. I've seen this deck around because it was showcased with a lot of channels, but look closely. This is the different versions. This is the original version that started it all. So I wanted to try this deck so much for a simple reason. Yesterday's Ninja deck was supposed to be some kind of Orzhov Sacrifice, but I couldn't just make it work, and I couldn't have good idea for Braids Arisen Nightmare deck, and I really wanted to showcase it. And our savior, Amaz, created this masterpiece that seems to be performing absolutely amazing. And I also wanted to share a bit of a lore because I have a secret that I don't really talk about usually. Because you might not know this, but I was a Hearthstone player for years before starting Arena. I think I played the game for 2 or 3 years, so I was actually pretty, maybe not serious about the game, but that was my main game. And I was watching Amaz for a long time, I think for months, so, you know, that's kind of funny how, you know, it all circles around. So I feel I can showcase finally the deck from someone that I was watching for so much time. And you know guys, I usually don't talk in the intros, but I think we can talk, right? We are bros, we can talk about stuff. And I'll be honest, like I was playing Hearthstone with an Ice Mage, so this is basically an archetype that you start the game, you fuck everything every turn, and then you kill your opponent with spells for like full lethal in the face. I mean, who could figure it out? And you know why I quit Hearthstone? Because of aggro. There was a 1/1 creature that went from the library to the battlefield when they played a pirate. So if your opponent was on the play, he played a pirate, which is basically mono-red aggro, and then an additional 1/1 entered the battlefield, and you were so behind before even starting the game, I couldn't stand it. So guys, when I talk about mono-red, like, I'm legit, alright? I have my credentials from different games about this archetype. But jokes aside, Magic has a bit more friendly design in defensive matter, so you get defender's advantage, and this is what brought me into Arena, which was a fresh game in beta back then. So, now you know, this was one of my dark secrets. Not the last one, but that's something you probably didn't know. So I just wanted to use this deck to talk about it, because I think it's cool. And I mean, we were talking so long and I didn't say a word about the deck. So let's do it quickly. This is basically like a Blink Sacrifice deck with Nurturing Pixie and, you know, the Guardian that can blink other creatures. You can, for example, lock down the Tithing Blade, something you cannot do with the other version. And when you sacrifice lockdown to Rite of Oblivion or you bounce it back with the Pixie, you can get so much stuff done. So this deck is surprisingly powerful. It will be fun. Let's go into games, and I hope you enjoyed the intro. Like, tell me in the comments, guys. I really am curious. So have fun and enjoy. We're going first. This is a nice draw, man. I think we start with the Inspector because we can start pushing some damage. And, you know, Hopeless Nightmare will just keep getting better. Man, when you can hit the last card with it, it's actually even better than, you know, in the early game. Well, this is not something I absolutely love, but, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I think we'll go with the Nightmare. I really hope they will go for a 2-drop, man. Then we can play the Blade, and that would be absolutely amazing. I don't want to show 1-drop, because they won't know exactly what we have. I probably will need to be kinda aggressive. Please, Mono-Red, you're annoying enough without the pet. So we didn't draw a lockdown, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? Maybe we draw it later. So if they play... Do we really try to block this? So the Swift Spear will be 2-3, they will just play 1. Well, if they play double 1-drop, it still doesn't work. Yeah, doesn't make sense. So we really want a goblin right now, because that will be a perfect... You just name the card and they don't play them. Alright, that was really good for our opponent. But at least he has one creature, so even though he got double play, which is his dream basically, at least we have something here. Let's go for the blade. Hard decision, but I think he will figure it out. And yeah, I mean, no reason to not attack here. But as you can see, we're kinda short in value right now. If we had lockdown, we would, you know, get 3 for 1 or something. But here you kinda need to work for your advantage, and it's very hard to find time to crack the clues. So we will go with Investigator, try to go 3 for 1. Good for them, but at least they're out of fuel. Nearly. They still have one card in the hand. So, you know, I'm a little bit scared, but maybe it will be good enough. Takenuma might be our huge play, we will see. But it's a big deal, basically. Alright. This will give us idea what the other card is. Well, End of Festivities is okay, but it's not super good, so the other card... Alright, here's the Slick Shot. And that's only Slick Shot, alright. You know, oh my god! This is insane! This is insane! Do you think he will trade for the Investigator with 2 creatures? No way, they never block. Bruh. They never block. Ah? Will you block? For the first time ever? Mono red? Do you even know this mechanic? Of course not. And now we can go for this one. And that means they won't have a card and we will have 2 blockers. So they are in full top deck mode right now. I will take Takenuma. If we whiff and draw a land on the next turn, this might be our big play. You know, drawing a creature. By the way, look at this card that they kept for later. Oh, is that a scoop time already, or they will at least try? Man, we have so much stuff. I guess we just go with the clues. We could go for the blade, which is a kind like it is a big deal, man. They can go for the founder. Do we really need this, or we just play a lot of creatures? I think we play a lot of creatures. Like, look at the mana. We can draw 2 extra cards and make a blocker. That is a good deal. So we are drawing 3 cards. Our opponent is drawing 1. I hope that will be enough. I hope that will be enough. It's really tempting to go for Investigator. And they don't have great attacks, right? No, like, this is so aggressive. And we can get a lot of value, especially with things like Braids and all this stuff. They have 1 random card. It cannot be so good, right? It cannot be so good. Yep, so generally I assume that my 3 cards are good enough to beat 1 red card. That's the play. Hopefully. Alright? I'm getting a little bit scared, but believe me, it will work out. Probably. Oh my god, those are my 3 cards. Duress. I honestly... so what is this? I don't know, man. I will just play it and see. And then we'll make a decision. Because I can craft with artifact here. Land, but they didn't play it. They're only on 3 lands. That's interesting. Why wouldn't you? This doesn't make much sense, to be honest. So do I want the blade? This helps us, right? Or we just go with the fortress and draw cards. Okay. We are going for a bit longer game, so I'm going for this. Right? We have something in the graveyard. Like, this will help us raise very nicely. And we can chump block something. The fortress will be a little bit late, but I think we can work around it. Yeah, I think we'll wait like 1-2 turns. When we burn all the clues, then we start being more aggressive. Don't forget, if we hit like Investigator, Sheoldred, like, we will get so much extra value. Like, we can keep going and we will use every single point of mana. Even if they draw... yeah, they drew something. So we will just trade. Go for it. Show me. I want to make sure that I kill both of the creatures, even with Monstrous Rage, because the toughness is, you know, there. That's fine. This is their best draw, and it doesn't feel as good. That's something I would expect from them. That's weird, because keeping card in the... they can sacrifice the Foundry. But we'll still go with it. With the you know, thingy, how was it thing called? Consuming Sepulture. This is the type of cards I really enjoy, man. This is so fun. Let's see if they go for the Foundry. Still, this will limit their mana a little bit. They don't. They don't. And we do not attack because we want the Chump Blocker. Especially that we have still 3 cards that we can draw at any point. With Restless Fortress, it should... man, we are like, you know, life gaining so hard with this. 3 life a turn, and they will get 4 damage a turn. Just with this setup. If they go for Liliana, I might actually let it through. Alright. You got her. Like, if that was a good card, he would just play it, probably.
This isn't how things were supposed to go.
Alright, sure. So, I will draw a card here. Yep, and here we go. And this is how we can absolutely... oh, this is not in the hand. Let's not get fooled by it. I don't have enough, right? But we can deal 2 damage. So we lack 1 mana for this play. But it's a blocker, it's good enough. Okay, so we set up for the next turn. We will attack here. They will have Menace. But we'll have 2 creatures, right? Because we have this Inspector. We'll also get extra value. So we can draw 2 cards. And this will mean that... yeah, 2 cards is better, because we will have enough mana for the next turn for all the plays. So we can right now block the Foundry, so if they play land, activate this, go for the thing. We can even let it through, because then he doesn't get a new card. So I'm not sure what we'll do. Maybe we just raise him. Like, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we just raise him, man. If we don't kill this, he cannot draw the card. Alright. Man, Mono-Red thinks we need to defend against them. We will show him the true power of our blinking things. Now? Really? Lockdown? After the game was already solved? Alright, the Shuffler just, you know... just laughing from me, at me. Alright, we will go with Investigator, possibly? Unless we can just kill him. Yeah, I'm all over the place, but we'll kill him, don't worry. So this is 4, 5, 7, 8. I think we should be able to kill... yeah, with Hopeless Nightmare it won't be hard. Alright, okay, I forgot about this interaction. So they drew something that is an instant speed, or this is just Mishra's Foundry? Hard to say. Let's go like this. Because the damage with the Hopeless Nightmare should be enough. Our opponent just, you know, trying to find his inner place with 1 card in the hand. So this is 7. Man, this kinda contributed. Like, this is some extra damage that we got already. Alright, and even if you won't have a card to discard, this is separate effect, so he still loses life. This is interesting. I think he drew a Lightning Strike. And he could kill the Guardian. So this is an actual decision here. If he tries to defend or just goes all in. And of course he will go all in. And that should be game. They can burn us to 7 at best. And then they die. Here you're honk for the dead Mono-Red of the day. Yeah, it was weird. And the last... why wouldn't... okay. Alright, they drew it later. This was a decent draw. Well, this one will be interesting. But you know what? We can trade some cards. We should hit white mana at some point. So we will go with it. We will go with it. We probably can forget about lockdown for a very long time. Maybe on turn 5 or something. But with double Hopeless Nightmare, I think, you know, we kinda should be fine. Do we want to play it now? You know what? I might wait for later, because I don't have other plays anyway. Alright. Okay, this is a nice draw. Howdy. Alright. So my idea was that maybe I wait until he plays all the lands because he doesn't realize that they have any value if he overdraws them. And let's go with Novice Inspector, right? This is a really good play here. And I mean, we have some tools. By the way, if we draw white land on the next turn, we have 4 courtyards. We can lock down everything. So their normal play is the double striker. Skrelv. Alright. Can be good, can be bad. But it probably will be good. Alright, here it comes. 2 toxic. Not the end of the world, but definitely hurts a bit. Okay, Braids is pretty amazing here. And we keep the blockers. 1 creature is white, 1 creature is black, so Skrelv cannot give protection. And let's start getting this sweet value. Like, Braids is amazing in this scenario. Alright. Okay, this is important. I really think we'll go with the Sanctum. And just, you know, lock down everything. I hope we can do it in like 2 turns, but we will see. Man, if I had 6 mana, I could play Guardian, lock down, and then my Inspector would come back at the end step. So right now they don't have easy decisions. They already used 1 evasion spell, they have 3 in total. We probably Hopeless Nightmare on the next turn, and then lock down. And we keep the Braids, right? But it would be better to, you know, trade all the Inspectors first. Alright, this is important. I mean, we have to start with the Nightmare, right? The fun... well, man, they have so much value. I'm not sure how really to play this. We could just go for the Guardian, maybe. Then we have 2 big creatures. And they could protect... And also this survives the lockdown, right? So when we lock down finally later, it's a good deal. Discarding their stuff is super important. Alright, man, they have good cards. This is insanely good. So I think they have 2. Like, this is the perfect card. It gets me to 3, gets rid of the Braids. I think they're waiting for, like, end step, so they can do it and bounce the Braids. I'm not sure. Let's see what they will do. Bring Dandy. You know what? I love it. I love it. I prefer to keep Braids. He has 1 card. Moment he loses all the cards, like, we are golden. And look how much we burned. Extremely bad draw. But... Alright, Rite of Oblivion. It's probably okay. Well, we... okay, it's... Scry, so we want this in the graveyard because it's basically 2 draws, especially with so many lands, we can do some magic with it. Alright, here it comes, and the last card, I hope it's not a protection spell, but you know, it probably is, right? But maybe not the one that goes around here, this. Alright guys, alright, I think we should have it. I want to go for Rite of Oblivion. Well, I cannot really. Okay, so we will do something else. We will draw first. It could be a counter spell as well. Alright, man, if that was Bring the Ending, I didn't really think of... No, man, oh my god, it costs too much. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I would love to sacrifice Inspector for Braids, but we don't really have a moment for it. Alright, let's see, this is super important. Oh man. Alright, I will swing. And this is how we do it. I will definitely sacrifice one of the lands. Man, Braids is amazing. This is one of my favorite cards always. Like, this is so fun. And I'm trading lands for value. The perfect scenario. And with 1 card, they cannot threaten us. They have nothing to threaten us. Even if that's a counter spell, I don't mind it. If that's a buff spell, they will be forced kinda to discard it. Yep. Alright, we get the value. What was the card? Oh boy, man, we are getting so much value here. And he's nearly dead right now. Let's get the crew. Like, why would I pay 2 mana if I can just draw the card and deal extra damage? With Sheoldred, they are so dead, man, in so many ways. Alright, that was a friendly game. Man, this was really close, but man, they wasted counterspell on something, but was it worth it? I think they had options, but hard to say what was the best play. Alright guys, we are going second. This thing doesn't change, and what a draw. I don't even know what to say about this one, but we'll try it. Because it's Jace, it will be some kind of aggro. I mean, you know what? We might just play a control game. We start with the lockdown, after they, you know, invest everything into the board, and then we basically outvalue them with the Novice Inspectors. I think this could be a legit... Well, this is definitely the strategy. And this is why I really, you know, enjoyed the lockdown version. Let's play Blackland, even though... How much value do I need? So the next turn can be Recruiter. I think we have enough value that we can play like this. I don't want to show that I have double white mana, because then they know it is possible that I will lock down. Man, they have actually insane perfect draw. It's incredible. They're really good at Magic. Imagine having this opening. However, we kinda came prepared. I'm not sure if that would be enough, honestly. The call is way better than anything else, just because it stays forever. But we have Rite of Oblivion, so no, we can possibly get there. Unfortunately, our opponent unloaded his hand so quickly that I think we have to go with this one, right? Let's go for the Nightmare. Is that Resort Reinforcements, really? Please don't be Resort Reinforcements. Like, I hope for a case or something. Alright, and now we can solve this in a classic way. That was the play. We also scry, so we will get a good next draw. Yep, they will go with Mirex. They will deal some damage, but it will be a 1-1. The Blade is pretty good, honestly. I think we can go like this, man. Like, we should have enough value. I like it. I think we're okay. What about those? Veteran, this is not a lot of value, so at some point we might even Pixie, get it back, and just do the thing again. I think we just go for 1-2s and start setting up for the later game. Man, I really like it because you can play it like a control deck, basically. The mana didn't align perfectly. If we had hit untapped land, we would draw an extra card. So, you know, we also couldn't play Pixie because we don't have enough white. So, a little bit awkward. Hopefully it's not something that buffs attack and defense. Like, the War Leader's Call is probably the worst situation. I don't mind it. This is, like, good for him, but it's not good enough. Alright, so how do we go about it? How do we go about it? I think this is just simply the most value. If we go like this, we will win the long game. And don't forget we have more stuff. I mean, we could draw the card, but I think we want to go for the tempo. And this will be a 2-2, right? Because it gets the counter if we get something back. I could also play Inspector, but we have so many cards, we just don't have time to get those. Our opponent will keep using Mirex every turn, forever probably, so he can try to outvalue us and waiting for the Recruiter or something. Still, War Leader's Call is the worst draw for us, simply because it buffs the toughness as well, so suddenly he can start attacking. With Recruiter it's not as easy. Alright, so we should be winning this game from here. Still, how do we go about it? I think we just make more creatures, man. Like, our creatures are really powerful. This will trade basically always. He doesn't discard anything, but we will get like enough clues for, you know, for the rest of the game. I don't want to attack yet. We have Rite of Oblivion, so even if he draws the enchantment, we can always sacrifice something. I just need a little bit more mana. Alright, so this is the target for Rite of Oblivion. they will get 1 or 2 scries. If they should probably main face Mirex. How do you really work? Because I think we can get the lockdown back if we really want to, right? This is how it works. Oh, they just tapped Warden. Alright, sure. And this isn't no token, it's just a creature. Main phase, absolutely love it. No reason to do it, but why not? Why not? So I can play the... Oh, right, but I won't have enough. I won't have enough. So, I mean, let's get rid of the Warden. We probably lose the clue. And we start dealing some damage, right? I think this is okay. We will be alive, even if they draw Recruiter or something. But it will be close. I need to start pressuring them a little bit. With Double Blade, we can get board into our advantage a little bit. Alright. Man, he did so much with this Mirex. Like, this is the 5th token, man. Oh man, that's a lot. So, let's get a little bit of advantage right now. This will help us quite a bit. 1. And this is pretty good, honestly. At the owner's hand at the beginning of the end step. You know what? I think we can play like this. I think this will be a good play. Even though we don't really get the value, I think we don't need the value. I need as much damage as possible while keeping defenders. Because that means that this can block. And suddenly we have 5 creatures and they have 6 creatures. So even with like Recruiter, they won't have enough to kill us. You know, not much value, but we have enough value here. And we have another Blade, and also the Restless Forges, so we can be super aggressive. They can only block 2 creatures, because those cannot block. Well, that's a good top deck, not gonna lie. He should absolutely not go for the Cavern. He should just tap one of those creatures. Still, they got some real value here. 3 cards, well, they got 4 cards with a single draw. I tell you, man, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Oh my god. So one draw was 7 cards, right? 6 or 7 cards. Man, one top deck was basically the whole new opening hand. And I see no problems with this. It makes perfect sense. Nothing is weird here. Isn't this crazy? Well, in last turn they had this. This was their 1 card from the top. Are you serious? Yeah, they didn't have white, so they had to play like this. And here's my top deck. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Alright, so how do we play this? This is actually really hard. I can draw a card and just transform this. This is not great. So, they cannot play this, but they can block on the next turn. I honestly think we have to draw a card. Like, how can I win with this board? He just drew 7 new cards. Alright, that's probably some start, hopefully. Alright, let's get rid of Knight of Eos. We get this guy. Man, this will be a little bit hard. I cannot believe how much he got in this single turn. Like, he more than doubled his whole value in the board. Alright, so... But Knight of Eos is a decent card. It's a decent card. So how do we go? 7. They can block this. It's a good deal for them, probably. I mean, they will just sacrifice the Might. It's not a real decision here. So we need to risk that they won't have any kind of buff thing. If I attack, he will just block. But we can chomp block as well. So we can take 5, 6, 7 damage. Well, if he doesn't block, we might be in some trouble. So I think we go like this, at least on this turn. This is... Well, man, if I'm too aggressive, I won't be able to survive. With fortresses we can be pretty aggressive, so I'm just going with it. This is what we hoped for. Good for us. We got it right, basically. And I don't think we would get a better trade. The problem is that Resolute Reinforcements kinda blocks the racing. Alright, main phase. So that's weird. That probably means they drew something really good. Well, welcome to Standard, where one top deck can always win the game. It's still probably a Slickshot deck, I would guess. Usually it's just, you know, mono red with 1 mana blue protection spells to, you know, go for the Slickshot. But we'll see. It could be something else, maybe. I think we go with the Nightmare. We can pay 2 mana, right? You will see. They will have some card advantage for a while, but if they tap during next turn and we play Hostile Investigator, this is I tell you, man, this is just a mono red with blue spells to protect the Slickshot. It's like a Gruul that has mono red with green spells to buff and protect the Slickshot. Like, this is kind of the thing. They're playing a bit weird. Alright, let's attack and see if something interesting happens. They could have counter spells, but we'll risk 1 Investigator because we know that we have second one. And that should be kinda enough value. And I think they don't have counter spells because they only protect their stuff. And they're waiting to kill us in 1 turn, basically. Here it is. If they are discarding a removal on an Investigator, their hand must be stacked. You shouldn't really play Quick Stud in this kind of deck, but maybe it's something else. But then it's fully off meta, because the normal version always uses it. That's fine. This is actually really good for us. Because that means we can resolve another Investigator, and you can see how much value this creates. He was like 3 cards ahead. After this, and we draw all of the clues, we will actually be ahead. Well, maybe this is just a control deck, but End the Festivities is such a weird choice. Like, this is something you play with aggro deck to keep up the tempo, right? Alright, let's attack and see if there's reaction. Like, he doesn't really want to take... Man, he's doing everything a bit different. So it could be a big score. This is extremely good card, and if they discarded it, it might mean they have more. So do we also draw 2 cards? No, we probably want this. But they will just kill the creature, right? They will just kill the creature. I mean, they need to play something. We can just get extra cards, I think. That should be good enough. Alright. Memory Douche. Man, I cannot hit a single card with this pile. I have no idea. It's like a... I guess it's just a... Is it control with some weird choices? Alright, so let's draw 2 cards. This means that we'll get good card advantage, and at some point they probably will have to tap for Investigator. I have absolutely no idea why this is the moment, but sure, man. Between the clues. Man, I cannot figure anything out about this guy. Nor deck, nor plays. Alright. We will go like this. So, let's start doing more cards. Man, look how packed with value this deck is. Alright. Novice Inspector. They will definitely have ill-timed explosion, so we need to be a little bit careful with it. We can start draining them later, but it's 7 mana, so it's kinda expensive, so we keep it for later. Do we go for Hopeless Nightmare, or we go for our cards? I'm not super sure. That's a full counter spell. Man, that's huge. Alright. They really didn't like it. Alright, so let's get some extra value. This creates pressure, so they're kinda forced to play a sweeper, which will tap them very hard. And we already got 2 extra cards, so we can keep going. You know, it's not like the crushing value of absolutely winning the game already. Oh, really? Man, from start to finish, I couldn't figure out anything. Nor his deck, nor his strategy, nor his plays, and even the conceit was a surprise to me. I'll take the win. Jerry, you still have moral victory over me. Alright guys, well those were some games, especially the Boros one. Oh, I'm still salty after that one. However, what about the deck? The deck is absolutely surprising. I really enjoyed it, and even though it seems like a super, aggro deck looking at the curve, it actually feels like playing control, especially with cards like, either Braids or just Pixie, discarding cards with Guardian of something. You have so many plays, and some of them are very sneaky. You normally lockdown isn't great when you exile your own stuff like Hopeless Nightmares, Blades, Pixies, Inspectors, all this kind of stuff. However, you can align the board. So for example, you play the Nightmare, you go for Tithing Blade, then you play the lockdown, and then you sacrifice the lockdown with Rite of Oblivion, or even better, you play Pixie. You get it into your hand, your opponent gets the creatures, and you get the Tithing Blade, the trigger, and Hopeless Nightmare. They discard to 0, they sacrifice a creature, and then you go lockdown again. So the board is still clear, but it just gets better and better for you. With Hostile Investigator, you can just keep going. So this deck is really fun. Not only everything is super cheap, so you always get, to play the game basically. You have lockdowns, so very often you just win simply with this. Against Boros, all you need to do is play lockdown. Okay, unless they draw Knight of Eos into Knight of Eos, alright? But generally this closes the game, and against all the value decks, you just can try to go for a discard deck, get all the extra value with Inspectors and Investigators, and you can just absolutely do it. With Rite of Oblivion, you also have a lot of natural card advantage, because this goes 2 for 1. It's a little bit expensive, but you will get there. And Blade, I really like this craft of creature. It's super expensive, 5 mana, but it stacks over time, especially if you flip more than one. And sometimes you get flooded, so sometimes it's not as hard to do. So yeah, this will really, give you this burst, especially with Braids and Sheoldred. Like, you can surprisingly kill your opponents out of nowhere. So guys, I enjoyed the deck. I think it's a very fun way to build this one, and honestly I've seen the other version that is more showcased on the other channels, and usually they don't play lockdowns. This is the early version of this deck, and personally maybe for tournaments is a little bit worse. However, for best of one, I think the lockdown makes the perfect sense. Not only it gives you basically an auto win against a lot of scenarios, but it still synergizes with the deck, even though it feels like normally it's the counter to your deck, but not with things like Pixie, because you get everything back, and all the when enters the battlefield triggers happen again. Also, you have so many 3-drops and 4-drops that you can sometimes set up the board so you don't lose anything and your opponent loses everything. So I think this version can be more competitive for best of one. And guys, I hope you enjoyed it. There's also a sideboard, so be careful, and this sideboard is kinda fire, especially Loran is amazing with this deck because you can get so many triggers, and the classics, the classics. So I hope you had a great fun today, and see you guys tomorrow.